As I film this, Notre Dame is burning, and I am filled with so much grief that feels really hard to explain, because is it even fair to say that I'm mourning a building I've never even visited? I suppose before I felt what I feel today, I might have said no, but as I skim social media, I'm confronted with words like devastated and heartbroken from friends of mine from all over the world. It's as if millions of us are grieving together. I felt the need to make this impromptu video today to share some of my thoughts on why the fire is affecting so many people, and I want to start with my own experience of how the news hit me. When I first saw the headline which told me that Notre Dame was on fire, my heart just sank, and I immediately began sobbing. This in itself isn't completely unusual because honestly I'm a big softie and I cry a whole lot. But as soon as I stopped crying, I just began thinking about what a shame it was that I might not ever be able to visit Notre Dame in the way I always dreamed of, and I cried again. And it was as if I was mourning an experience that I won't have. And then I just continued to think about all of the history in that building, and I cried even more. But then, out of nowhere, my heart just dropped once again, but this time it was almost as if it were a sense of guilt, as I remembered this framed puzzle that was just collecting dust in one of my storage closets, and I ran to that closet immediately and dropped to my knees and began crying once again. You see, this puzzle is of Notre Dame's rose window, and until she died, this puzzle had been hanging in my grandmother's kitchen for as long as I can remember. As a child, I would stare at this puzzle while I was eating peanut butter and marshmallow fluff toast that my grandmother would cut into triangles for me, and I would try to wrap my head around all of the intricate details, and I would secretly dream of seeing the real thing someday. This is all made more complicated by the fact that I am still mourning my grandmother. We were ridiculously close, and it's been less than a year since she's been gone. It takes a lot of energy to grieve and to mourn, and this intense energy that grieving takes is a large part of the reason why I haven't found a place in my house to hang this picture yet. I'm perpetually exhausted, and the act of hanging pictures itself seems daunting, let alone the emotional whiplash that can come from having a new memory sparked for each picture I find a new place for. And it occurs to me that the shared public loss of Notre Dame is also compounding my private, personal grief for my grandmother. I'm grieving for the church, and I'm grieving for Grandma. The experiences I won't have again, and the experiences I may never have. We are all mortal beings, and although we don't always like to talk about it, we know that we have a finite amount of time on this earth, and knowing how fleeting life is, we stand in awe of the things that are bigger than ourselves, the things that we almost raise to the status of immortality. For the religious, this can be something like a deity or an afterlife, and for the secular, it can be things like monumental works of art or an appreciation for the vastness of history and the progress of humanity. Notre Dame has a kind of grandeur that can resonate with people on both sides. On the one hand, it's an iconic place of worship, and on the other hand, it's an architectural masterpiece that's 856 years old since they started building it. And of course, it's only made it this long through maintenance and renovation and the love and appreciation of countless people throughout history. It's a true testament to human love and collaborative capability. It's just bigger than us. And with anything this iconic and long-lasting, we take it for granted as something that will just always be here, even long after we are gone. And there's power in that. As conscious beings, it's impossible to fully imagine a world that we no longer exist in. So it's only natural for us to attach significance to the physical things that we know will go on, or rather the things we assume will go on. When something greater than us dies, it's jarring. It's a reminder that everything is finite and the future isn't guaranteed for anybody or anything. It's a tough lesson that we all have to learn and relearn in times like this. And although it's going to continue to be difficult every time you're confronted with it, my hope is that you'll continue to make a space for the losses that impact you. So share your photos, share your stories, and really meditate on what the loss means to you and how you can move forward bearing the weight of what you now know. As for me, I'm gonna find a place to finally hang this up. And I would love for you all to share in the comments how the fire of Notre Dame has impacted you. It's possible that I won't ever see Notre Dame's rose window, but whatever happens, I still have my rose window.